Hello Cancer friends, I'm Annie Botticelli and welcome to my video, Cancer February 2021 Astrology Must Knows. Also welcome if you're listening to my new syndicated version of this YouTube video through the form of my podcast called Astro Kisses with Annie Botticelli. Okay, so what's going on this month? I've got a list of must-knows in general and for Cancer placements that you will really love to have notice about so that you can make the most of this month, know what you're kind of getting into before we get there, and know how to use the energy in the best ways for you, as well as some sneak peeks about what's coming after February. Okay, so the first must know is that we are back in retrograde now. Okay, so 2020 was very much a year of inward and backwardness, and then we had this bursting out at the end of November, all of December, and the first half of January. And that time was about, December, January was about like pushing, getting stuff done, making up for lost time, forward movement, things flowing, accomplishment, big decisions, things like that. And now we've rolled back into this being the earthworm, working back over the same soil over and over again to make very fine, fertile foundation for future planting and future growth. And it's also time to be the spider. The spider is one of the animal totems that I resonate with connecting to the retrograde time, because the spider has woven its web at the end of November, December, and the first half of January, and then the spider waits to see what food it is brought in February. Okay, so that is a really important must know, is that this is not a time for you to try to make things happen. If you can just hear anything in this video, just know that if you start pushing in the month of February and you're getting frustrated, just know that this is not the time to try to make things happen. It's a time to reevaluate what has already happened. It's a time to review and reconsider and edit things that you worked on in the past. And it could be a time to research things for the future, although making plans for the future is not really the best at this time. Preparing yourself for making plans through the form of research or clearing up unfinished business or getting sort of a lot of static out of your way is an amazing use of the energy. So anything that you can do to get like projects that have been taking up your creative space, just get them done and cleared up. This is going to leave you open for the new, astrologically, we have a new year in March, at the end of March. Okay, so we started our new year in January, but the astrological new year starts around March 21st. And so the more you can clear up now, the more you can burst forward. And there is so much amazing energy for bursting forward in March and April into the first half of May. But this is not that month. This is the month where you get everything out of the way so that you have the energy to blast forward, and where you research the things that you're going to be blasting forward with. Contracts aren't super easy to deal with this month. Information will be hidden. Things that were set could be cast into question in a big way. That's another major must know of this month, is that plans made this month are likely to change, shift forms, or not happen at all. The more you can leave this month open and unscheduled, which if it's not in your control, it's not in your control, but the more you can do that with the things in your control, the happier you'll be, because first of all, it will prevent you from preparing for something that might not happen, and it will leave room for surprise magic. One of the things I love about retrogrades is that it often brings in last minute magic. And last minute magic is something that you want to have time for, where you have an opportunity. You don't want to have something come up, like someone say, hey, you want to go do this, or let's go do this, and then you say, oh, I can't, I have all this stuff scheduled, you can't. You don't want to do that, because a lot of things that come up last minute like that in a retrograde can really be amazing. And the more space you leave, the more you can be prepared for that. Okay, so that's a major must know. All right, so the next thing is that a lot of this, most of this energy is really accentuating your space of relationships. And there is so much energy going on in relationships for Cancer placements, because not only Do you still have Saturn and Jupiter moving through relationship spaces, because the 7th and 8th house are both relationship spaces. So even though both of those planets have changed signs, they're still moving through the second of the 2 relationship houses in a row. So you guys have had this long-term touring with like, oh, my relationships, taking stock of what's going on with them, all of these changes, all of this, work, all of these blessings in many cases as well. And now for the short term, you have added to this long-term story all of this congregation of Aquarian energies that are coaxing you to come up with innovative solutions, coaxing you to be open to new ideas, and also just having you gather information. This is an amazing month for gathering information. It's an amazing month for studying. It's an amazing month for looking into school plans. And it could be an amazing month actually to register for a school plan, as long as the plan you're getting into has flexibility with your studies and is more shorter term, like a year or less. It could be actually a fine time to jump in if it feels right and if it has that flexibility. So education, learning, information gathering, connecting with friends and acquaintances. This might be still through the virtual arenas, depending on where you are. Things might be shut down still at this point, but regardless, there's so much information around other people and networking, which you can do virtually, and you can see, maybe there will be other opportunities as well. So things having to do with your wills and real estate and inheritances and looking into refinancing a loan and, getting your credit repaired. That's all good stuff to research this month. Again, the paperwork thing might not be the best time. You have to follow your flow and your intuition with this. It could be the right time for you. Might not be the best time in general to make the commitments or make the actual changes, but it certainly is a good time to research these things and to see what you can qualify for, or look at methods to improve your credit, things like that. Research grants or other government or other funding that you could get. There's a lot of energy around that for Cancer. Okay, this is also an amazing time for Cancer placements to do really deep inner work on the psychological or spiritual or metaphysical front. You've got placements in the chart at this time that are really pushing you to ask bigger questions and to deepen your studies and your looking at the lesser seen realms, and that's a really, really big trend that's going to be strengthened by the outer placements that are moving slowly through this area of your chart, or will be getting there soon, depending on exactly where your placements are. So in general, Aquarius placements make an awkward angle for Cancer. So you will feel that this month, but it doesn't have to be terrible. It doesn't have to be bad. You just have to know that things that you're trying to do might be a little bit more of a nuisance. And the more you can follow the flow and just sort of stop doing things that are unnecessary and only deal with things that are necessary, the more you can have more joy at this time. And that's really what this is about. And that's why I wrote this beautiful book, Planetology, How to Align with the Natural Rhythms of the Universe. All of my work for all of these years has been about understanding these energies so that you can have more joy and ease by aligning with them consciously. Okay, so another major must-know is to mark your calendar for February 11th and the days around there, because there's a beautiful aspect in the sky, a real smile bringer, Jupiter and Venus getting together. These are the two benevolents of the cosmos, and when they get together, it often can bring beautiful memories. It can bring just nice times, and just things can happen that can be surprises in wonderful ways. And since we do have challenges at this time, big and small, we'll take all of those major sweet things that we can get, right? So you might see something nice roll in those days around that date, the 11th. Also know that we do have a few more sweet aspects than salty ones this month, and that does set the tone for a month, so know that that's going on. Okay, so let's see. All right, so the other thing that I wanted to talk about has to do with February 27th, which is the full moon in Virgo. Now, this particular placement is in a nice angle for you all, because Virgo placements are are in an earth, it's an earth sign, okay? And earth signs flow better with your water sign than all of this air energy that has been moving along. So it's very possible that something that you've been working on will come through, a job opportunity, a breakthrough in a relationship, something having to do with a pet or an animal might be called into the forefront. And I say that this can be super positive because it can. But there's always the chance, of course, because it is an opposition angle, or it's not an opposition angle, because it is a full moon. That's what I meant. It's not an opposition for you. It's actually a sextile, which is a 60-degree angle, which is very nice and favorable. But because it is a full moons can bring drama and emotion and, just, how it is. You guys are moonies, right? You're ruled by the moon, so you feel these things more than other people do. And so fullness, fruition, completion, drama can definitely come those days at the end of the month. And I always try to schedule for myself and recommend that you schedule yourself to be lightly scheduled at that time, because you want to just show up for the things that happen, but do know that that is at least in a nice angle for you. So every Cancer can feel that as a positive, sweet blessing because of the mathematical angle for Cancer placements for that Virgo. But those of you who are closer to 8 degrees, so that's going to be, around June 30th. The closer to June 30th, the more this could be a sweet piece, or if you have any other placements in Cancer that are close to 8 degrees, then this could also be a blessing for you. So like June 30th, we'll even say up to July 4th-ish, and then back to June 26th. So that spectrum is an increase in odds of something sweet happening here that's notable, and the closer you are to June 30th, the more likely that is. Okay, so as I mentioned before, I just want to reiterate, if you have something important to do and you don't have to do it now, then know that there is better energy for launches and momentum and clarity and certainty and oomph and everything as we get into March, April, and the first half of May. You might be a little bit more lazy this month. You might be a little bit more distracted in February. It's not the time to make yourself do a bunch of stuff that's unnecessary. But your creative spirits can soar in a big way. So if you have creative things that you want to do, projects that are fun and flowing, then follow that flow for sure. All right, so the last must know is that we have this epic aspect, Saturn squaring Uranus. It's going to set the tone for the whole year. We're having 3 of these clashes. This aspect is so important that I did a separate video on this because it would have made this video super long if I would have added it into this. So for part of the cycle that this horoscope is working for, I will actually have this video of Saturn square Uranus to follow this video, so you can look for it on the end screen. But if it doesn't show up, you can look for it, just search for Annie Botticelli, Saturn square Uranus, and then you can understand what the themes will be globally and down to the individual level, so that you understand what's happening before it happens. It's kind of nice to have a heads up about these things. And also, again, look at my podcast if you are interested in having more of an ad-free listening to my horoscopes. You can find them be uninterrupted by the mid-roll ads that have been going on YouTube through the podcast Astro Kisses. So you can find the Saturn-Uranus opposition or square video on my podcast as well. And one more sweet must know for Cancer is that you're getting the kisses from 2 ends. The Virgo is giving you the kiss with the full moon from the 60-degree angle perspective. And then on the other end, 60 degrees in the other direction, you've got Mars giving you kisses. So let's talk for a minute about Mars kisses and talk about some timing for each of you. If you are a June born into the first couple of days of July, you will get your Mars kiss in January. If you are a couple of days into July or through the rest of the sign, or 13 degrees to the rest of the sign, then you will get your Mars kiss in February. And what does a Mars kiss look like? It looks like something that you worked on coming to fruition. having some good insight into what you need to do to solve a problem, some organizational things coming through where you get yourself into a good system and then, you feel like you're getting into a groove. It can also be where other people are working in your favor or other forces are working to help you. It can have something to do with a male energy in your life. And notice I'm not saying a man per se, but like a strong energy in your life could be helping you with something or standing up for you or helping you to have a voice or assisting you with getting all of your creative forces out in a tangible way and using all of that emotion. Obviously, I'm sure you've heard this a million times, being a water sign and especially being a Cancer ruled by the moon, you have a lot of strong energy around emotions. All humans do. We're sentient beings, right? So no human gets out of that. But emotions are power. And I know sometimes it doesn't feel that way if you feel debilitated by them. But emotions are raw power that you can create and construct your life with and help other people and just build with these emotions. So these Mars kisses can help you to create a life where you're less debilitated by the emotions that you have and more have a process where you put the emotion into motion and use it for positive forward movement in every different area of your life. So if you would like to have even more information about what this month could look like for you and how you can best use the energies, then definitely tap into all of the free resources I have for you. You can go to anniehelpsyou.com. Definitely sign up for my free email newsletter. Now more than ever, there are perks that come along with that, because besides getting my monthly write-up that shows the sweet and salty dates and what you can expect, what the aspects are, what you can expect from them, and what the month looks like, all in a written version delivered into your inbox 1 month early, plus my 28-day virtual coaching program called Shine for Free, I'm working on having software that will allow you to run birth charts for free. Now, I can't make any guarantees that this will be in place by the time you are listening to this, because it is something I'm working on, but it is things like this that are perks that come along with being on my free email newsletter list. So you'll definitely want to do that at anniehelpsyou.com. If you want simple written horoscopes by me that will give you good details but aren't as technical as some of my other resources, then you can go to my beautiful website, cozybysweetstarlight.com. All of the links that I'm giving you are also in the notes underneath the video. Or if you're listening to the podcast version of this, they're in the notes underneath the podcast. Also, if you would like to have to listen rather than view, if you're driving or if you're not wanting to deal with the mid-roll ads that YouTube is pushing against even the creator's will, then you can check out my new podcast, Astro Kisses with Annie Botticelli. The link for that is in the notes underneath the video as well. You can see my free courses at lumelife.com, L-U-M-E life.com. That's my school, Luminous Life Multiversity. So besides having free courses, I also have some paid courses. And if you think I go into lots of details with all of the free things I give you, you should see what the paid offerings look like. Especially my course called Becoming a Professional Astrologer Mastery Course, which will equip you to do whatever you'd like to do with astrology, whether it's just help your friends and family and not do it professionally, help your own self-development, or become a practicing astrologer. And I also give information on how to make your astrology practice work financially, because I have been a business coach for a long time too, so that gets worked into the course. Okay, so definitely get my book, Planetology, if you're a fan of my work and you'd like to go deeper and you'd like to align with the natural rhythms of the universe. That's what this book is about. You can find Planetology anywhere and everywhere. I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye.